Good evening. Ashliadora.noir here. Uh, the owner and creator of the original group Inferior Whites Consensually Becoming Black Owned Property. And in this episode, the third one, um, I want to introduce a new group that I created that is going to be just for the Great Lake region. Um, Same title, with the exception of Great Lake region will be added into that. Um, in episode two, I kind of explained some of my reasonings of thinking about the smaller group, and I have created it already today. It's January 30th, I should say, 2021. Um, I have created the new group for the Great Lake region, that being the states of Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, and I did include Kentucky. It is my ideal behind this is that by concentrating the area, we may be able to get more superior blacks interested in the ownership of inferior whites, as well as more inferior whites seeking to become consensual slaves to black men, women, and families. It is my idea that we will take this smaller group, and it is a closed group. Let me mention that right away. I'm pretty sure I've had that in the show notes, but closed group on FetLife means that it is visible, it can be found. However, you have to request to become a member of the group. You will be vetted in order to be a member of the group. Vetting has got a number of things, but right off the top, you got to understand it's going to be strictly for people in the Great Lake region. The only exception to that would be is if I, as the owner, determine to invite or have somebody from outside of the area that may be a huge proponent of superior blacks owning inferior whites and making sure that we're talking about consensual slavery on this part. I may include them in the group depending upon where they actually live and if they're going to participate in our group enough that we are going to get something out of it. Um, Vetting, okay, let's go to that route. Anybody that applies to be in the group has to have a full FetLife profile. It can't be something started within the last couple of days or months. You have to have an actual picture for an avatar, no question marks, no cartoons, no avatars that are not of a person. And ideally would be if it's a single male or female, their picture. If it's um, a couple picture would be nice, but as long as it's one of the individuals of that family, we'll take that in consideration. No dick pictures, no blank profiles. There's got to be some information there about yourself. The information should also talk about the fact that it's somewhere in your profile that you are an inferior or a superior, and the fact that you're looking for consensual slavery, whether it be a superior black wanting white inferiors to own his property, or as an inferior, you are looking to become black owned consensually, and it's not a game to you, it's real. You will be vetted. And if history has anything at all to say in regards to this, I'll say right now that about 3 out of 4 people I declined in the main group because their profile sucked and they didn't follow directions or they started mentioning something about financial domination. And while I'm at that point, part of the group rules for this new group is the fact that there should be no mention of financial domination whatsoever. Anybody that is mentions that in an ad, or if it's brought to my attention that in contacting as a DM that financial domination is at the crux of the issue, that person will be deleted immediately and banned from the group. All right. The reason number two for having this smaller group is I hope to facilitate superiors and inferiors getting together and actually finding people in the region that are sincere about Black supremacy and the Black ownership of inferior whites. In my mind, by having this regional area, I live in Michigan, and basically, I think that any of the bordering states can all be reached within a day. It would be my idea in the future that we will turn around and be able to create meetings or holidays, possibly a group meeting, something maybe at a hotel where we can all group members get together to intermingle, get to know one another, talk about the idea of Black supremacy and Black ownership of inferior whites. Um, for those that actually have formed a committed relationship of master, owner, slave, it would be a good place for them to have a venture or an outing to go to where they're amongst like-minded people, and vice versa, inferiors or superiors that are looking to inherit or not inherit, but um, find submissives that are sincere about the relationship idea of becoming Black owned. They can find each other, they can intermingle, and do it in a safe environment where everybody is basically looking for the same thing. So those are my main things. Thirdly, I'm hoping the fact that if we condense this into this regional idea, that I can get more responses from individuals, whether they're superiors or inferiors, that are willing to discuss their feelings, needs, wants, desires in regards to this lifestyle and share that information in the YouTube video, and which can also be part of our podcast too at the same time. Um, the new group is listed on my profile page on FetLife. Um, there will be a link into the show notes here that you can find it. But remember, it is limited to the Great Lake region. Anybody outside of that region is not going to be admitted into the group unless it's somebody that I personally know or have vetted and are going to be active participants in our group from an educational standpoint, perhaps, or sharing their thoughts of consensual slavery, Blacks owning whites, or maybe inferior whites that are involved with a superior Black, either male, female, or couple, where they are actually property and want to share their experiences, that type of thing. But I don't see that as being a very positive or too many of those types of people being in the group. I want to keep this regional. I'm not looking for numbers. I'm not looking to have 500 members in the group. I'd rather have 50 to 100 members that are sincere about becoming consensual slaves to superior Blacks. And of course, the superior Blacks that are looking for consensual slavery from inferior whites. And by being in this region, in the smaller area, I'm hoping that we can find um, a location where we can actually get together at least once or twice a year, in order to have like a meeting, small convention, whatever you want to call it, where we can all interact, talk about our experiences, pluses, minuses, the whole thing. Um, in my in the last episode, I mentioned the fact that consensual slavery is not just about sex; it is about the actual submitting to and the mindset of an inferior being black owned, and for the black owners to realize that the inferiors that become their property, there has to be a meeting of the minds. The mental aspect of consensual slavery is much more important than anything could possibly be sexually. Granted, sex between um, submissive or an inferior and a superior black man or woman is a wonderful thing. And interracial relationships are becoming more and more popular. However, consensual slavery is something that I think that many of us want, but just don't know how to get yet. And I hope that this new group will bring people together that are much more conducive to um, forming those types of relationships. So um, I'm happy I did it. I'm happy I created it. There will be a link in the notes for both the podcast and the YouTube channel in regards to the FetLife group, the new group, the Great Lakes region, and anybody that resides in these areas or in these neighboring states that's interested in consensual slavery and black ownership. I hope that you will apply to join the group and become active members. The message board can be, you can place a personal ad if you're looking for a superior or an inferior, but you can also post questions about um, what it is that consensual slavery means to you, and that can go both ways. It can be a superior talking about what they're looking for in a consensual slave relationship, and vice versa. The inferiors can talk about the fact that what it is that they seek and what they desire to get out of becoming a black owned slave or family. So this is not going to be a long meeting. I just wanted to introduce the fact that I have created the group. The group is live. Um, you are welcome to join the group, and please be active if you are. For those of us that are in the Midwest region or the Great Lakes region, please like and share both of the podcast and the YouTube channel in regards to this. Let's get the group to grow. It is a closed group. Again, it can be found on FetLife, but you must request membership in order to gain entry, and you will be vetted based upon your FetLife profile. So if you have kind of a small profile, you don't go much in depth with it, maybe you should take a look at my profile and see the information that I have in it, and maybe kind of mirror your profile, something like mine, so that you have the best opportunity to find what you're actually looking for. Um, I'll take questions at any time. You've got resources in the show notes on both the podcast and YouTube channel of how to reach me. I can be reached at any given time. I'll be more than happy to discuss consensual slavery of inferiors to Black owners in detail with anybody that has any questions or desires or is looking for either an owner or an owner looking for slaves. Um, I'm here to facilitate bringing us together. So please take advantage of my knowledge and let me get to know you as individuals. And maybe I can help piecemeal people together and, moderate to some extent um, interactions. And again, that's the reason for the idea of trying to have some kind of gatherings where we can meet for a weekend meeting or whatever. And I think a hotel setting would be nice if we can find something that's not overly expensive, but hell, between Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, even Kentucky and Michigan, there's got to be places we can find that are maybe on the outskirts of a major city and maybe a little less expensive, but still give us the opportunity to have um, a block of rooms, as well as maybe use of a um, ballroom or meeting room type situation where we can have a group meeting. And who knows? Maybe we can even play. Who knows? That all depends on the people that are in the group and how everybody feels in regards to that. Um, Another thing we can do in regards to having an outing or a meeting like that is it would be a great time for a superior to collar their slave in front of like-minded people and discuss the lifestyle and what consensual slavery is going to mean to them, their family, all the parties concerned. So um, I want to thank you for listening to this. And please remember, like and share um, all of these platforms, okay, whether it's the YouTube or the podcast. The more it's shared, the more we'll build up and the more things we can get. I've submitted the first two um, podcasts to iTunes, and we'll find out if they accept it in the next couple of days. But I would assume they will. And once we get the group growing a little bit, we'll start discussing topics one by one, and we'll do videos and podcasts in regards to that. In addition, don't forget, I'm really looking for co-hosts. The more people we have involved, the more people that get their face on camera and their voices heard on the podcast, the more chances you're going to have in order to either find that superior owner you're looking for or the inferior slave that a superior black's looking for. So thank you again for listening. Please like and share. Share these videos, especially on Facebook. Um, you can share them on in groups, whatever, on in FetLife. Um, but chances are, if you're in this lifestyle, you've got um, a profile other than your vanilla profile on FetLife or on Facebook, Twitter, MeWe, something along those lines. Share these videos there so that the people that you interact with have an opportunity to join with us. And I'm particularly talking about your Facebook connections because chances are you're going to have people in your Facebook groups that are going to be more in the region rather than across the country. So um, let's make this grow. Let's make this lifestyle a reality for all of us. And whether you are a superior or an inferior, we know that this is something that we want. And we just need to kind of come together so that we can broaden the horizons and let the opposites know, whether it's superior or inferior, that, hey, I'm interested in consensual slavery. especially the black white dynamic. So thank you again very much. I appreciate it. Like and share, please. Don't forget. And also on the podcast, you can also donate. So hit the donate button, and it can be as little as 99 cents a month. So anything we can do to try to raise a little extra money so that we can create a actual web page where we're not stuck with the censorship of Facebook, because I'm afraid Facebook's not going to allow much more of this in the next few months. I'm afraid they're going to cut this out totally. So thanks again. It's Ashley Adora. I will talk to you soon. Have a great night.